السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت يا ذا الجلال. الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. As it was announced yesterday and the day before, alhamdulillah, we are honored to have with us Sheikh visiting from out of the country. We have with us Sheikh Hasan Ali, who is visiting the Dallas-Fort Worth community from London, England. And inshallah, he will give us a short talk now. I think he's just finishing up his prayer. But while he's making his way up here, I just wanted to give a brief introduction about Sheikh Hasan. Some of you may have heard him. He gave the first Jum'ah on Friday. And Sheikh Hasan is an alim. He graduated back in 1997 with an alim degree. And then he also obtained a master's degree in educational psychology in 2006. And since then, he has worked at various levels as imam, teacher, scholar. But then he founded Safar Academy. And since then, he has been working tirelessly to develop this academy. And alhamdulillah, it is a well-known name in England. And he has published an entire curriculum of weekend learning and weekly learning in Islamic studies for children. And he continues to be a teacher, a scholar at various community centers and masajid in London. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Sheikh Hasan to share with us a few words of advice, inshaAllah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khairan, Sheikh Hasan. Yes, yes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم يأن للذين آمنوا أن تخشع قلوبهم لذكر الله وما نزل من الحق ولا يكونوا كالذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبل فطال عليهم الأمد فقست قلوبهم وكثير منهم فاسقون. صدق الله العظيم. Dear respected brothers and sisters, in this short reminder I'd like to say to myself and to yourself as well that we are here for a very, very short time in this world. A very, very short time. You can see how days are going past, like entire weeks, months are going by, like almost, you see a whole year gone by, and you start thinking, well, that was just the other day. Like Ramadan is coming now, you just think about last Ramadan. It was almost like the other day we had Ramadan, just a few months ago, but it's been a whole year. So time is passing by. And as we're moving along, so the most precious and most valuable thing we have is also going away with us. The precious thing that we have, brothers and sisters, is not money. It's not those valuable items that we have. The most precious thing we have after Iman on this earth is time. There's nothing more precious than that. Even people with money, if they don't have time, they have no pleasure with that money. Even people with money, if they don't have time, they don't have pleasure. And they usually say that out of three things, you'll always have two of them at best, but you won't have the third. So out of money, time, and health. Money, time, and health. You can only have two at one go in life. You can't have all three. So a young person has got no money, but they've got the time and they've got the health. A mid-aged person has got the health and has got the money, but they've got no time. And the people who have passed that age and are at the end of towards the end of their life, they've got money, they've got time, but they haven't got health. So now you decide what you're going to keep with you, because the moment you pass away, that all that money that I've accumulated and you've accumulated is gone. Literally gone. I mean, not even a single penny I will be an owner of. And all of that is going to go towards the people who I spend the whole my life for. What are you spending your life for right now? You're spending your life for your future, but then immediately for the future of your family. That's on most people's minds. So imagine that I do that for my entire life, and when I get to my death, my whole life was for my children. My whole life was for their future. And today I am alone in the grave with none of what I worked for, and all the rest of the people just take that away. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us that three things will follow us to the grave. Your wealth, your family, and your actions will follow you to the grave. Of that, two will return. Imagine from the grave. Allah Azza wa Jal gives us the hearing, because there will be a hearing from the grave. According to Bukhari, there's a hadith there that says they will hear the footsteps leaving away from the grave. So imagine, we are hearing them leave. The family are leaving, but they're leaving to turath, towards inheritance, towards my wealth that I worked for my whole life. And here I am with my actions. So what is more important, my brothers and sisters who are listening? Is it important that I really strain my life and get those few extra bucks for my, temporary future, but I neglect the most important part of my real life, because my life is not going to end in this world, it's going to carry on. Death is only a single transfer from this world to another world. Death is not the end of life. Death is the end of one life and the beginning of another. That's what it is. And when I wake up in the next life, my money would have stayed behind, but the actions that I produced with that money will go with me. When I've gone from this world, my house will remain behind me, but the actions and the a'mal I did inside the house will go with me. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us not to turn the house into a graveyard, to leave some of the nawafil and some of the rawatib you've got for the house. Why? Because it's going to bring some goodness into the house. So I would have gone, and the items I leave behind, but the things I did with them, they go with me. The shoes I bought are going to be left behind. Maybe they've gone to charity. But the places I walked to would have gone with me in the next life. يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا, the day when the earth will give witness to what I actually did. Allah Azza wa Jalla is not interested in this whole cone and existence, except that He made all of this for me and for you. And He never made me and you for just our sake. No, He wants something out of us. So if you look at Surah Naba, and if you read it from the beginning, and it says, أَلَمْ نَجْعَلِ الْأَرْضَ مِهَادًا, Allah says, haven't I made the earth flat? وَالْجِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا, I pinned it down with some mountains. وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا, I made you as pairs for one another. And then وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا, I gave you sleep that cuts you off and gives you relaxation at night. And وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا, I gave you a night that covers you. And وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا, I gave you a day that is bright. And then the sirajan wahaja, I gave you a sun that is bright like a lantern in the sky. And then وَأَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ مَاءً, and I gave you water from the sky. Why did Allah mention all of this and suddenly say, إِنَّ يَوْمَ الْفَصْلِ كَانَ مِيقَاتًا? Why did Allah Azza wa Jal say that there's going to be a day of fasl? Fasl means the day of separation. And it's going to be a meeting time that is made and will never be missed. Why did Allah say that after all of this? So the great Mufassir, Sheikh Ahmad al-Lahori explains. He says when a farmer is working on his field, then he will need every part of what makes his crops. He needs the soil. He needs the sun, he needs the rain, he needs the winds, he needs to protect his land, and he needs to put the seeds in, and once it spouts out, he will start looking after it until it has long grains. And from those grains, he will take, from long stalks, from the stalks he will take his grains, right? Once he's taken his grains, and he's separated the shell of the grain, okay, from the rice, or the wheat, or whatever he wanted, that's what he's going to walk away with. And once he walks away with that, he's not bothered about the rest of what happened for the season, because it's done. The same way, when Allah Azza wa Jal created this earth, al-arda mihada, and He made it flat, and He created us in pairs, and He gave us the sun, He gave us the rain, and He gave us food, and He gave us a system, and He gave us a night, and He gave us a day. Allah Azza wa Jalla was not interested in all of that. He was interested in the stalk that would grow, which is the human being, and it's the jinns. And on the Day of Judgment, when we get there, on the Day of Judgment, Allah is not just interested in us per se, He's going to take something else out of us. Just like, we are the grains basically. Okay? I would say we are the grains. And when we come there, Allah is going to separate two things. From the shell, Allah is going to take from inside the actual seed that was there. And what's the seed? Allah says, it says, أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. Do you not see that that human being will be taken out of the graves? Okay, that's us as the actual grain. And then وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. From within him, I will take something else, which is his actions. And what we did. And those two things Allah needed. The rest of the whole of the cone and existence, Allah is going to destroy. إِذَا الشَّمْسُ كُوِّرَتْ وَإِذَا النُّجُومُ انْكَدَرَتْ وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ سُيِّرَتْ. We know from Surah Takwir, every one of these things Allah is going to destroy, because that was in His purpose. Just like the farmer didn't need any of that, Allah Azza wa Jalla doesn't need any of this. So the whole purpose of why we were created was for another life, and we are the grains, my brothers and sisters. And every day Allah Azza wa Jalla has given us another 24 hours to make a difference to our future. And that's up to me how I make that difference. Every night when I go to sleep, I remember death before I go to sleep. Every morning I thank Allah for giving me a new life. Before I sleep, I say, Allahumma bismika amutu wahya. Oh Allah, I am going to die now in Your name, and I hope to live again in Your name. That is the night. Every night we're saying this. Because death is a reminder, sleep is a reminder of death. And when we wake up in the morning, we are thankful for giving another one chance. Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur. Thanks and praise to Allah Azza wa Jal, the one who gave me life after He caused me to die. But the final awakening, today, this morning, I've woken up. Okay, but the final time I will wake up, وَإِلَيْهِ النُّشُورُ, is to Allah Azza wa Jal. And we remind ourselves in the morning for that. Now as the day passes, what I'm asking you to do, brothers and sisters, is to fill the day with certain dead time, because time is the most valuable thing I said to you. To fill the dead time with the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. It's very simple, very easy, and it's a lot of hasanat and a lot of reward you can get. So when you're walking from here to your shoes, subhanAllah, I'll give you, I'll flip this over. A brother was asked, how long does it take you to go to work? So if I ask any one of you, how long does it go to work, what are you going to say to me? Half an hour? 20 minutes? Alright. This brother said, it takes me to go to work 800 subhanallahs. That's what we want to think. 800 subhanallahs. My Ustad, Sheikh Fadl Rahim, once he was at a meeting, and the meeting was wasted, he wasted the entire time. 2-hour meeting, he sat there. 2-hour meeting, and he sat there, he came back and he said to me, he said, Hasan, he said, that meeting I went to, it was very exhausting, but it was a waste of my time. Nothing was being productive. So I said, Ustad, what did you do? He said, I sat there and I read Surah Ikhlas 1,000 times. Dead time. 1,000 times Surah Ikhlas in 2 hours. You know what that is? In a hadith it says you read Surah Ikhlas 3 times, you got the reward of the whole Quran. So you've walked away with the reward of 333 Qur'ans just by reciting this. And this is in a Sahih hadith. Various ahadith are there. So if you want to fill dead time, it's so easy. You're in the car. You guys are driving every day, miles and miles. The shortest drive here is 20 minutes. Otherwise, you 45 minutes, half an hour. You ask anyone, I've been asking these guys, how far from here? They either say 20, 30 or 45. I got it right? That's it. So now you tell me, in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, what can you do? If you're a hafiz of the Quran, you're very blessed. Even if you recite with a bit of, just a steadily, 45 minutes is 1 juz. If you recite a bit more, with speed, 30 minutes, easily 1 juz. If you're not a hafiz of the Quran, you can do many tasbihat, many adhkar in that time. You can listen to something and learn your deen in that time. I'm surprised many of you drive, but there's nothing that you're listening to that would give you ilm. It's dead time. Why you want to have dead time? And what are you going to switch on? Some radio that's going to say, oh, we got Donald Trump that's been saying this, and what do you say, folks? And what do you say, John, over there? Oh, well, it's looking really bad over here. We think that he might get impeached. Right? You're going to listen to the same thing over and over again, seriously? You can get your news. If you're after news, if you're a smart person, you get news of your smartphone. And on your smartphone, you can navigate which news you want, you press on it, and you read it quickly. Just read the first 2 paragraphs. Don't read the whole article. First 2 paragraphs will give you everything. If you need to read more, you go a bit down. But you certainly don't click on everything. In 10 minutes, you can get all the news you want. You don't have to sit there for half an hour in front of a TV and watch every single part that they're giving you, because most of that is going to be wasting your time. And time is the most valuable thing we've got. If you are ironing your clothes, you can do something. I've noticed, when I'm doing wudu, I'm not talking about wudu where there's a toilet now, wudu in a sink on its own. I can read 3 pages of the Quran while I'm doing wudu. While you're doing your ironing, count how many times you can do istighfar by the time you've ironed your shirt and you've ironed your trousers. You can possibly do 50 istighfars, maybe 70 istighfars. That's what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do a day, 70 istighfars. Another narration says 100 istighfars. So that could be your time to get your istighfar done. And you've got to be very, very productive in this way to getting all of it done. You've got times when we're walking. In fact, you guys walk quite a bit to get to your cars, okay, out in the parking lots. You've got a lot of things. And one of the best adhkar is to close the mouth and move the tongue without anybody knowing. And you're saying La ilaha illallah behind your teeth and behind your lips. And nobody even knows you're doing that. It has maximum ikhlas, maximum, sincerity. So what are you doing? If you do right now, if you just say La ilaha illallah in your mouth, just say it right now, without moving your lips. Don't move your lips. Don't move your lips. Just move your tongue. See how Allah made this dhikr? This is the only dhikr you will find that doesn't involve those lips. And you can go from here to anywhere you want, and you say so many La ilaha illallahs. And it's done. And that's in your a'mal. So when on the day of judgment you wake up, you haven't got loads of dead time that you did nothing in. But you filled it up with so much stuff. And when we're out there, what we need to do is, subhanallah wa bihamdi. Right? We're busy people. You're very busy. All of you have got jobs to go to. And if you don't have a job, then you can't pay your bills. You come on the day of judgment and you can come with the most reward on the day of judgment. The Prophet ﷺ says simply, in the morning, 100 times subhanallah wa bihamdi. In the evening, 100 times subhanallah wa bihamdi. You will get more reward than anyone on the whole of the day of judgment. Sahih Muslim, narration of Sahih Muslim. Unless somebody has done equal to you, and then extra, they will not beat you in that. That's all you need to do. A simple tasbih, or just on your fingers, just start counting 100 times subhanallah wa bihamdi. And you've made that. In our, dua, you don't need to lift your hands to make dua. You can drive your car and make a long dua. And you're talking to Allah. And you're driving at the same time. And you're connecting up with Him. You can sing along whatever you want to make it even more happier for yourself. Certain ayahs, this is what the Aslaf did. To make your own inside better, you take an ayah of the Quran and you repeat it over and over again and think of the meaning of it. Sahaba did that. So in a narration, Athar, it says, Aisha radiallahu anha, in one of her nafl rakats, she read, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَالِدُهَا كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا. In Surah Maryam, when she reached that ayah, she kept on repeating over and over again, and she cried all night in her salah. وَإِن مِّنكُمْ لَا وَالِدَهَا means each and every one of you surely will come to a low pit where you have to pass by the beginning of the bridge that crosses over hellfire, but you will come down near to hellfire to get to that bridge to cross over to Jannah. And كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا. This is something which Allah Azza wa Jalla has made incumbent. It's going to happen. When she came across that verse, she read it all night, repeating it over and over again, and it was almost morning time. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, in Athar, it says, when he got to the ayah in Surah Ar-Rahman, فَإِذَا انشَقَّتِ السَّمَاءُ فَكَانَتْ وَرْضَةً كَالدِّهَانِ, when the sky will split and it's going to be red. When he came to that ayah, he cried over and over again, and he passed his night through crying. So if you sit down and you're reciting one verse over and over again, the simple one, you can, in your car, while you're walking, just repeat it and think of the meaning. Allahu la ilaha illahu. Allahu la ilaha illahu. Let's say you're driving. Allahu la ilaha illahu. Allahu la ilaha illahu. You're driving, you look in the mirror, you change your gears, whatever you're doing. Allahu la ilaha illahu. The meaning is Allah, there is no other God except for Allah. This is in the Quran. Allahu la ilaha illahu. Allahu la ilaha illahu. Or maybe the ayah in Surah Al-Hadid. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. He is with you wherever you are, and He is watching over you with all the actions that you're doing. So it's just an awareness, Allah is watching me, that's it. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. Or recite maybe a dua of Yunus alayhi salam when he was in the belly of the large fish. لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ سُبْحَانَكَ إِنِّي كُنْتُ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. There is no other deity, no other God besides you, and I am the one who's messed up. I am the one who's done something wrong, not you, Allah. Subhanak, you are free from all blame. I am the one to have any blame if I've got it. So all you're doing is, whether you're cooking, whether you're cleaning, whether you're putting some clothes in the washing machine, whether you're taking some out, whether you're sorting the clothes out, whether you're putting them out into drawers, whether you're ironing your clothes, whatever you're doing, whether it's in the house, whether it's in the car, whether you're walking or traveling to your workplace, and even at workplace when you've got some dead time, even if you can't say in front of others, then just move your tongue with La ilaha illallah. You guys understand? Just move. It's moving inside. No one's seeing it. No one knows what I'm doing. And then when you on your own and you can repeat a verse or something again and contemplate on what the meaning is, repeat it so that you've got a connection with Allah Azza wa Jal. When you can say your adhkar or something else every single day, do that. And guess what? On the day of judgment, you'll wake up and you'll probably be the most happiest person ever. You won't need to look left or right. You'll see all that dead time did not become dead time, it became useful. You turned sand into soil. If you water sand, my friends, if you put water over sand again and again, it actually starts to, it starts to become fertile. Do you know that? That's what they did in Dubai. The places in Dubai, they put so much water on sand, they actually made it fertile. And that's what we're doing with that dead time. We're going to put so much on it that we're going to see your whole life was full of dhikr. It was full of remembrance of Allah. It was full of connection with Allah. And what it will do, it will make my heart softer. It will make me try and come closer to the Quran and so on. And the final thing I want to say before we finish is, please, brothers and sisters who are listening, one of the greatest fitna we have, one of the greatest fitnas we have of this day and age is what? Can anyone say it to me? What is it? The smartphone. The smartphone. That's the greatest fitna. In there you got your social media. In there you got several social media. Some people do tawaf of the social media. They go from first tawaf is Facebook, second tawaf Twitter, third one Instagram, fourth one Snapchat, fifth one emails, sixth one Google Hangouts, whatever, and the seventh one they'll come back to maybe Telegram or whatever. WhatsApp. Oh, forgot the WhatsApp. Oh, la hawla wa la quwwata. That's the first one. Yeah, that's first tawaf, brother. You're right. Yes, right. And then they're back to the first one. There's 7 shouts. They're doing 7 tawafs and they come all the way back. And then they go. And if you notice, people look. Soon as they've done salam, it's like. Soon as they're at the dinner table. Soon as that somewhere else, and quickly look at this. Why are you so obsessed with this? Seriously. In fact, when someone needs to contact you, I've actually done this with all the people that know me and I've got my number. I've said to them, I will get back to you when I've got time. So you should not feel, astaghfirullah, the brother is upset with me. No way, man. Because when we never had the smartphones, what did we have? We had the real phones, yeah? Okay? And what do you do with real phones? If you wasn't there for the real phone, right? If you weren't there for the real phone, they never got hold of you. And we had another life before that. We never had phones. We had telegrams. Right? And you had to receive. And before that, we just had letters. Yes or no? So if you want to know something, you wrote a letter, you put it in post box, they got it after a week, and then if they read it, then they would find their time to write, and then after 1 week or 2 weeks, you get that back. Right? That's how life was like that. And life was brilliant like that. And right now, because they can WhatsApp you, it's like, if you don't respond to me in the next 1 minute, I'm going to be upset with you. And I'm like, brother, you might as well go to the akhirah, I don't care. Because the thing is, you want my time right now? Well, hang on a minute, I've got a life. I've got a wife. I've got children. I've got, a family. I've got a social, and I've got the akhirah. And in that, just because of flood of free messages, the reason why people send WhatsApp a lot, you know why? Because it's mufat. It doesn't cost anything, majana. It doesn't cost you anything, it's free. That's why. The text messages, they actually cost money. So people barely send them. Because it takes your tariff, it costs you money. When it comes to WhatsApp, it's like send as many as you want. Because it doesn't cost anything. That's why people are giving you so many messages. And because it's free, it's abused. And because it's abused, they think that they're going to take all my time out of me. And I will tell you one thing that will scare you if you think about it. You've made your intention for tomorrow, right now. And your intention for tomorrow is, and unfortunately every day people do this intention without even knowing that they've done it. You've made your intention right now. Tomorrow you're going to open your phone unlimited amount of times. You're going to open your WhatsApp unlimited amount of times. You're going to open your emails, WhatsApp, whatever it is inside here, YouTube, internet, roaming around, whatever. You've made intention already. Without me having to say, you're going to open it unlimited amount of times. But out of you, there's a whole group of people that will not open the Quran tomorrow. Doesn't that scare you? Every day I open my phone, and I open it several times without even thinking, but I don't open the Quran, I don't connect with the Quran. Doesn't that scare you? And when you're opening your phone, you're most likely not thinking of Allah. Most likely you're not thinking of Allah. You're thinking of all the things in here. And what will happen to us on the Day of Judgment? When we wake up, and the little time we had in the day, we actually kill that off because of a smartphone that we got. So that's why whenever I have anyone on this, I tell them that, look, you might not get hold of me. You can ring me, you can WhatsApp me, you can do whatever you like. I will get back to you on my own grounds, on my own terms. And I think all of you need to do that. Get your life back, brothers. Have you ever switched your phone off for a few days and seen how good you feel? I've got 3 more minutes left for my half an hour. Have you ever done that? Some brother just said, whispered, he said, impossible. Brother, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. You can do, if email is the most important part of your work, you can do it on your computer. You don't need to have your smartphone on for that. You can switch off the whole of social media, whole of it off for 3 days. And I'll tell you how good you'll feel. I do it every year when I go to i'tikaf. And I do it sometimes in certain countries I go to, I have it totally switched off. And the countries I go to where I don't use my phone for the whole 7 days, you know what? You feel, you got so much time on your hands, Ya Allah. You are free from slavery. You thought you were actually, you're actually getting out. You actually find freedom. You want freedom, brothers? Embrace it. By putting your phone away, just to switch it off. Just switch it off. There's nothing wrong with it. One day, just go with 24 hours once. Some brothers are looking at me like that. It's true. One day, just do 1 day. And then do, later, another time do 2 days, then 3 days. Out of social media, out of everything. And you see the freedom you get. You can actually find time to do something for yourself you haven't done for a long time. Reading a book, enjoying yourself, sitting, relaxing with the family, without having to be bothered by the phone and so on and so forth. All right? And guess what? Your akhirah and your attention to akhirah is going to go up. Because you've actually got time now for the akhirah. So summarizing my entire talk, brothers and sisters who are listening, we've got very limited time. We're going to die any time. Allah Azza wa Jalla has created us for a purpose. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that he said, "Inna dunya khuliqat lakum." The dunya has been created for you. Wa innakum khuliqtum lil akhirah. You have been created for the akhirah. Okay, so we've got limited time. Get all your dead time alive. Get your dhikr rolling. I don't want people to do the dhikr rolling while you're walking down there, while you're going to your car, while you're in your car, while you're at home, while you're doing all these other items and things. Get the dhikr rolling. And what you do is fill it in with a lot of dhikr, with a lot of remembrance. Connect with Allah Azza wa Jalla. Let's make our dunya and our akhirah. We want both of it. We want to go to work and we want our akhirah at the same time. And you fill it up, inshallah, on the Day of Judgment. We will see that we'll be very successful, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.